Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the All Four Downs podcast. I'm Obi-Wan with my host. Surely he is soon to be the champion of the 2025 picks. He's no other than Hector.
La, 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 la.
First and foremost, Merry Christmas to you and to all the listeners out there. Merry Christmas. It's one hell of a holiday. And for this episode, we're covering week 18 of the final regular season play. And fourth down, we'll be making our college football picks for the college football playoffs that's happening on New Year's Eve and on New Year's Day. So a lot of football's going on between now and then. But before we get started, let's go ahead and look at the update standings, the playoff standings in the NFL, because it's very intriguing as we get set here. And once again, uh, week 18 of the regular season, four downs, three counts is the All Four Downs podcast. First down, here we go. Let's start off with the AFC. The Denver Broncos currently are holding the number one seed for the playoffs. Then the New England Patriots. Both teams are playing separate, and so it'll be interesting to see how their games are going to be because they're playing at the same time. You also have Jacksonville Jaguars, who are right now in first place of the AFC South, but they are also playing separate between with them and the Houston Texans, which if the Jacksonville Jaguars lose and Houston wins, Houston takes over the division and become the number three seed. However, Jacksonville Jaguars win their game, then it doesn't matter. They're already locked in at number three. Something else that's very intriguing is that we have one more playoff spot, and that is for the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. So we're already going to have a Sunday night football game, and it's actually the first playoff. And we're in week 18, a playoff game to determine who goes to the playoffs and who goes home. Man, this is like a double wild card game, Hector.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to expect it from that division. That division has been really weak this year, so it's fortunate that it's going to come down to it. But yeah, we get the double dose here. We'll see who's going to be the better team coming out of it.
Yeah, I mean, what I find it interesting, and a lot of a lot of people, social media, and everybody else, they're making their claim that they're hoping that Lamar Jackson does not play this game. They want to see Tyler Huntley. I think Tyler Huntley gives the Ravens a better chance of winning than what they do with Lamar Jackson. Now,
Hmm.
I'm gonna. I mean, listen. I don't know the facts. I'm just going opinion. I'm just giving my opinion on all this. But I think Lamar Jackson's time with the Ravens is over. I
Hmm.
think that there's so much expectation, and I think because he's won, you know, MVPs, but he's never won a Super Bowl. He's never taken the Ravens to the promised land. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's won a Super Bowl.
No.
So, well, with that and everything else, I mean, we're not going to get it out of Lamar Jackson. You see his face expression. I don't know what's going on behind the doors. Everyone's speculating that, he's been showing up late or he's sleepy or whatever. I don't know, man. These guys get paid millions of dollars to play the game. So I'm sure they do what they got to do, right? But if Lamar Jackson plays, um, I just got a feeling that Steelers may squeeze that one out. Honestly, it's just I know it's a different play. There's a different momentum between the two quarterbacks.
No, you're absolutely right. You will want to think that Lamar Jackson gives them a better chance of winning, but that hasn't been the case this year. Tyler Huntley just gives more oomph to this team for some crazy reason. You're right. It's a different momentum when you got a different quarterback playing. And so it's crazy. But I think the Ravens are better off with Huntley at the helms with the ball. So we'll see. I mean,
regardless of who's the quarterback, I just don't want Aaron Rodgers to make it to the playoffs. I'm I'm raising my hater flag right now, and I'm telling you that I do not want to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Yes, congratulations to the Pittsburgh Steelers for allowing Mike Tomlin to continue his streak as the coach that has a winning season. 9 wins did clinch it. Yeah, they celebrated, but damn, them Steelers did lose. They lost to the Browns, right? Bad timing because if the Steelers would have won, we wouldn't be talking about how important this game is going to be.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so you should have got the job done, and now you're in trouble. And the Ravens are high right now, and I think they have the momentum moving on forward. Moving on to and here we go, jumping the gun. The Ravens and the Steelers will be the last game of the NFL regular season. And there's a lot to this because not only are they playing for that one playoff spot, but this is the last regular season game and potentially the last game for Aaron Rodgers in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, look, Rogers don't need nothing to prove. He's got the
Yeah, I
Super
mean,
Bowl
he only
ring.
got one Super Bowl. I mean, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, well, yeah, he don't gonna prove nothing. Um, he probably stuck around because maybe he tried to be better than Tom Brady. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? He want to be better than Peyton Manning, but that's not the case, right? And he just left a bad taste of a lot of people with his attitude, the things he said and did in the Pat McAfee show, and taking the time out to try to find himself and yada yada yada. And I mean, I think he put himself out there to be the villain in the NFL.
I agree. I mean, I like his style of play sometimes because he's that type of quarterback that can actually throw the defense off sides. He can get that Hail Mary at any given time. So he's done some good things. But you're right. I mean, his antics off the field and what he says, it just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. And I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but he needs to move on.
yeah, definitely. I mean, we're moving on too because the Chargers and the Broncos and the Dolphins and the Patriots, both teams, the Broncos and Patriots, are fighting for that number one spot. And who looks better? Right now, the Patriots looks good right now. To be the number one team in the AFC, right? Because they're playing the Dolphins, which they got nothing to play for, but they could play spoiler. But you're in New England with a 26-degree weather. On the other side, the Chargers, like the Chargers do have something to play for because it's the seeding process, right? Because correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of ties, right? So we gotta
Yeah.
we gotta rearrange all that
Hmm.
stuff that's going on there in the playoffs for the wild card because you have Texans, Chargers, and Bills all with 11 wins. So
Hmm.
the scenario could change a whole big time in the AFC, right? Depending on what happens this weekend. The Chargers could drop to number 7 if Buffalo wins, right? So this a lot has to happen, but we will find out who's going to be the number one seed in the evening games, right? Because both these games start at 4:25 p.m. One on CBS and the other one on Fox. All right, and then also the Titans and the Jaguars, the Colts versus the Texans. It might look so easy if you look at the spread. Jacksonville's favorite at 12 and a half, Houston 10 and a half, and yet Texans are looking for the Jaguars to lose so they could take over the division. There could be a swap right there. All right. But what a coincidence that both these teams, the Jaguars and the Texans, are going against the Titans and the Colts with both teams not playing for anything. They're already eliminated. So will their starters continue to play? Or will we see second or third strings or even people from the practice squad to show up and play and get their reps? So that's why it's very hard to determine on how these things are going to happen in week 18. Let's move on to second down. And you thought about the AFC's going debacle. Here, it's almost the same thing, right? We don't even know who's the number one team in the NFC, but we did narrow it down to two teams: the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, by the way, they do play each other. Yes, they do. Week 18. Could we potentially see another playoff game, or will we just see only half? Right? I
Hmm.
mean, we definitely the winner is going to have the advantage because they got that week off, right?
Yeah.
And depending on the condition of the team, the wild card starts right away the following weekend. So, ooh, yeah. How
And
about
then it's
that?
like, the loser drops to number five. I mean, Seattle being 13-win team can actually drop all the way to number five just like that. But then again, we seen that last year when we had a 15-2 team as a number five seed. When with the Minnesota
Mm.
Vikings, because them and the Detroit Lions tied, but
But
because
but you know what though? If the 49ers win, that look, Seattle Seahawks are 7-1 on the road.
hmm
They got the best away record in the NFC. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they got the best in the. Oh no, New England Patriots are eight
the
and zero
Patriots,
on
yeah.
the road, right? So like 7-1. I mean, you would think that the Seattle will just run away with it and maybe make it to the Super Bowl.
But the 49ers are 4-1 in division play this year, 9-2 in the conference. So, and to me, there is no excuse for any other team because the 49ers have shown what you can do with a bunch of injuries. 12
Oh,
and 4,
absolutely,
12 and
absolutely.
4, and
Mhm.
could have a chance to get the number one seed. So injuries are as an excuse now. I'm sorry. You got to know
Right.
how to play with what you got, and the 49ers are doing that.
Yep.
Granted, there was no defense in that Bears game. I mean, good Lord, if you picked the over on that one, you won big time because you won it by halftime. Good Lord. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
good game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that was,
Right. Who
with
would have
two
expected
teams,
that to happen, right?
right? Because
Um,
when you got two teams that match up so equal like that, you would think it'd be a
hey,
blowout. But
it's a
this went
rival.
down,
It's a rivalry. Yep.
man.
Hmm. The Bears and the Eagles are tied, so we determine what's going to happen. The 2 and the 3 they can flip flop, and
Hmm.
then the
Hmm.
Carolina Panthers are actually playing a playoff game because now they have to go on the road to Tampa Bay. The winner of that game will take the AFC South and host one home game in the playoffs. That's going to be interesting there. 49ers, Rams, and Packers technically in the wild card. But like I said before, the 49ers and Seahawks, the winner is the number one seed, and the loser becomes the highest seed in the wild card at number 5. And then everybody else, man, Vikings, Lions, Cowboys, good night. That's all I'm saying.
And, and
um,
and real
Go
quick,
ahead.
when the playoffs start, record goes out the window because we seen that last year when the Vikings
Oh
went on the
yeah.
road in the first round and got bounced. 15-win team got bounced in the first round. The 49ers and Seahawks could be in that predicament because they both lost to the Buccaneers this year. So should the Buccaneers get in, San Francisco or Seattle got to go to Tampa. So be careful. You both lost to them already. So your best bet is
Mhm.
for Carolina.
Yeah, but the Bucks ain't the same team as they were before. I mean,
I
they
know.
just they're just crashing right now. Um, but yeah, Saturday, Panthers and the Bucks. That's the first game of the NFL game to determine who's going to make it to the playoffs. And then that night, the Seahawks and the 49ers will play for the number one seed.
Now, real
Um,
quick, it
Go
is.
ahead.
I believe that with going back to that game right there, the Panthers and the Buccaneers, there is a weird scenario. Should the Buccaneers win, they still need the Falcons to win. I believe in
Nah,
order for
the
them.
Falcons are out.
No, I know, but I
We're
need
talking about a tiebreaker.
a tiebreaker. But the Buccaneers don't go in with an automatic win against the Panthers. They don't. They do not. The Panthers go in with an automatic win, but the Buccaneers don't. Because if the Buccaneers win, as you see, they'll be tied with the Panthers, but now it falls onto the Falcons. The Falcons need to win in order for the Buccaneers to win the division. If the I believe if the Falcons lose, then the Panthers still win that division as a tie with the Buccaneers. It falls down to that because the Panthers swept the Falcons. and the Buccaneers didn't.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, but the
it's a weird.
Buccaneers and Falcons, did they split?
I think they did. I think so. I think the Buccaneers might have swept. I'm. I can't
Hold
remember
on for a second.
exactly.
I'm looking
Yeah,
right now with the Falcons.
it is a weird scenario that the Falcons are involved in this.
They
If
beat
the
the
Buccaneers,
Falcons on week 1, and then let me see, and then they lost to the Falcons, so they have a split. But if I'm because right now what I'm reading here is that they are eliminated.
no, they
But
are. They are. They all they do. I believe the only thing I'm saying is that I think the Falcons only play a role if the Buccaneers win this game and tie the Panthers. Is not an automatic in for the Buccaneers. They need, I believe, they need the Falcons to win also
you know
to
what? I'm
beat.
looking at
They,
the standings right now.
they need to beat the
The
Saints in
Falcons
order.
have a better conference record,
Hmm.
and they are tied in division records. So now I can see your point there.
Right.
If
So
the
that's the
Bucks
thing.
win and the
They need the
Falcons
Falcons.
win,
Then
the
the Bucks win
Falcons
the
could.
division. No, no,
Wow.
The Falcons cannot win nothing. It's only the Buccaneers and the Panthers. But the Buccaneers need them to. They need themselves to win, but they need the Falcons to win in order to eliminate the Panthers. So the Panthers can still get in with a loss. Losing to the Buccaneers,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
right? So
Now I understand.
the Panthers can
Wow, what
still
a
win.
scenario.
I know that is a weird scenario. That is the
So you're
weird
saying the
scenario.
Falcons got to win.
If the Buccaneers win first, if the Buccaneers win, then yeah, they need the Falcons to win the division. Because if not, the Panthers win that division. So the Panthers can,
Wow, that is
yes,
so crazy.
yes, I know it is so weird. So the Panthers can lose this game and still they will need the Saints to win their game in order for the Panthers to win that division at 8 and 9. That is so weird, bro. I'm telling you. Yes,
Wow.
I, I mean, I don't know how they. I don't know if you don't see that somewhere online, but that is the scenario. This is not an automatic. This is not like the Ravens or the Steelers. The winner's in automatically. This is not that situation. This is not that situation.
Wow. So no.
Yes,
Wow, this
yes,
is worse than baseball. Oh man, I felt like you were talking about baseball right now. That's crazy. I'm
yes.
glad that you pointed that out because I'm looking at the standings and it says the Falcons with the letter E, right? But
Yeah,
I'm looking at it to where where what you're saying, right? The Buccaneers win, they're not necessarily in
right,
unless the Falcons got to win.
right.
And the Falcons lose, you lose. Wow.
Exactly. Yeah, and the Panthers go win that division
Damn.
at 8 and 9. Yeah.
Damn. So man, and I'm wondering if the Falcons could play devil's advocate.
Yes,
You
exactly.
remember that time that we were wanting the Eagles to what was it? Oh, they had to win and they had purposely lost
Yes,
to
yes.
eliminate the Giants.
Hmm.
Yeah, wow, that's some dirt right there. So who had? So let me ask you this: the Falcons, who they hate the most? The Panthers or the Bucks?
I would think whoever swept them, and that was the Panthers, I believe.
Yeah, but you know the Panthers. If it was Cam Newton, I probably understand that they'll hate on him, right? But this is a different type of Panthers, man. This is the Panthers that been down in the basement for a long time. Yeah. I think I'll play devil's advocate with the Buccaneers. I
And
don't
so,
know.
can you reiterate what time is that Saints and Falcons game?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Let me
Because if
look
they
this up, man. 'Cause
because
this is very interesting because
because
of fact. Watch this.
it could be
You ready?
scoreboard watching. Yeah.
Because the Panthers and the Bucks play Saturday. Then that means, well, if the Panthers win, we won't have to worry about it. But if
No,
the
we don't.
Bucks win, right,
It's yeah,
then
they're
they
gonna
have
be.
to look at the 1 o'clock game on Fox between the Saints and the Falcons.
Yep.
And Atlanta's favored to win this game 3.5 points.
So my thing is, yeah, if the Buccaneers win this game, now the Falcons got a choice Do they play their starters to win the game and get them in, or tank and let the Panthers get in?
Well, Kirk
It's
Cousins is going to probably start that game because
you like
Michael
that?
Penix Jr. is on the IR. You
You
still
like that?
got Bijan Robinson, who's playing one hell of a game. Could Pitts, their tight end, do something great? On the other side, the Saints have what's his name? Shaw,
Yeah, I know you're talking
Kyler
about.
Shaw. Yeah,
Hmm.
he played for Louisville. Um, yeah, but Kamara could potentially rush for his very last time in the Saints uniform. You got Olave, who had a awesome game last weekend. Um, but yeah, I mean, the Saints are on a 4 game winning streak. The Falcons are on a 3 game winning streak. So, and watch this. I know that the games don't mean much, but the Saints have beaten the Bucks, Carolina, Jets, and Tennessee. The
Yeah.
Falcons 3 game winning streak is Tampa Bay, Arizona, and the Rams, and they beat the Rams on Monday Night Football. Could the Falcons, man, the Falcons better not fall asleep. So everything's all on the Falcons. That's very interesting right there. Yeah. Let's move on to third down.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had a game delay on the second down. Yeah, we just had to get that out there.
Yeah. It extended was until further review. We finally got it. It's not upheld because of the Falcons.
It's
So
overturned.
let's go ahead and move on to my picks, third down, and here we go. We'll start off with my Saturday's pick, the Panthers and the Bucks. You said all that stuff, and that is great. I am not all in on all these extra scenarios because I really don't want to watch the Falcons and the Saints. Be honest with you, but I have already chosen. I am picking the Carolina Panthers to not only beat the Bucks, but for the first time since 2017, sweep the Bucks. Okay,
Hmm.
so damn, that's what 8 years, eight
Yeah.
years since they last swept the Tampa Bay Bucks. Um, we'll see, we'll see. Both teams on the road 3 wins and at home 3 wins. So Buccaneers are just shooting themselves in the foot, man. They're shooting themselves in the foot. They're on a losing streak, and I don't think they're going to recover. I really don't. I know Carolina Panthers tried their best against the Seahawks, but the Seahawks are just at another level right now. And I think because of that game, it's going to give them momentum in this game to take care of business. On the other side, speaking about the Seahawks, they're on the road against the 49ers for the number 1 seed. And it's home field advantage all the way. 49ers, no matter who's on their roster, they find themselves winning. They're 12-4 for a reason. But let's make no mistake here. The 49ers have won 7 games out of the last 8 meetings. I am taking the 49ers to beat the Seahawks. All right, let's move on to some other picks that we share. The Chargers and the Broncos. You and I picked the Broncos. Well, you have Broncos number 1 seed. Why is that?
Look, I just like the way Bo Nix and that team is playing right now. Um, I don't see anything stopping them right now, especially the Chargers. I mean, I feel like right now that Herbert is banged up. He was taking a lot of hits last week, and so the Chargers, I think, no matter what, they're going to be on the road going into the playoffs. So I think this could be a time where maybe Jim Harbaugh might just rest his players. This is not going to affect them as much unless they want to try to play spoiler. But I think regardless, Denver is going to come up, guns blazing here, and they're going to win at home against the Chargers.
But
Take
it's
the number
already
one
been
seed.
announced that excuse me, that Justin Herbert is not going to play. Trey Lance is going to start.
Mm,
And Trey Lance, he's a former starting quarterback himself. Matter of
yes.
fact, he played for San Francisco, but
Hmm.
even if that, he lost the job to Brock Purdy. So this could be a great tryouts, if you want to say, for other teams that are looking for a quarterback. So Trey Lance, he has an opportunity to put some stuff on the board. But who else? I mean, I believe that whoever's banged up, really, they're going to rest, and we might see a different version. That's why I picked the Broncos. I think the Broncos have a lot more into this game to be the number one seed, especially that they own the tiebreaker versus the Patriots. I'll save that one for last here. I'll move over to the Browns and the Bengals. I did pick the Bengals. I think they go out with a bang with Joe Burrow. But I'm also going to see a record breaking sack record that's going to happen in this game. What else? And then the Dolphins and the Patriots. I just, the Dolphins, they Tua Tagovailoa will not be starting in this game. They have their backup. So how much is it, or how much will they play? All depends on the coach for the Patriots, but just it doesn't look like the Patriots will be number one, especially that the fans are all going to be tuning into the scoreboard. And I think the scoreboard at Gillette Stadium is going to dictate whether or not the starters remain there or will they sit out. So,
Yeah.
and then lastly, the Ravens and the Steelers. If you heard my podcast each and every week, I'm just a haterade. I am going for the Ravens. I do not want to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. What's your take, Hector?
Look, I'm not hating him like you are, but I just think that that team is just on a whole confused level right now, especially without DK Metcalf. So even though the Steelers has won 4 of the last 5 home meetings against the Ravens, I just feel like they're on the decline right now. And again, like we talked about, who's at the quarterback, who's holding that ball for the Ravens. If Huntley gives them that chance, I think he can outdo Aaron Rodgers and win this game in Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Ravens.
If Lamar Jackson starts this game, I might
It's
as
a
well
wrap.
just say the Steelers are going to win,
It's
man.
a
I'm
wrap.
like,
Yeah.
it's nah. I'm just not. I'm not all in on that. I'm not. Um, Both teams are very disappointed, to be honest with you. It really is,
It is.
right? Because
Yeah.
the Steelers started hot and they got too comfortable, and we knew that they were going to sink ship. And at the same time, the Ravens started out rough and they started playing good football at the right time. Not as good as everyone predicted, but this is what we have right now. Ravens and Steelers. I had the Bengals winning the division, but they were banged up, right? Burrow got hurt, and that's a wrap. And for the Bengals, hopefully in the offseason, they invest in defense, because if they could do that, then they're going to be the most dangerous team in the NFL next season. All right. Now we'll move on to your picks. So, Hector, Packers and Vikings.
Look, the Packers, I don't know who's going to be starting in this game for them. I just think that the Vikings are going to come. It's just going to win this game, just for no other reason than this is a division game, a rival, and a home game for the Vikings. Like I said, the Packers, they ain't got nothing to play for. Seriously, and two, they allowed so many yards. I think over 400 yards without Michael Parsons. I think that plays a big difference. So at this point, they might as well just rest everybody and just worry about the playoffs and don't worry about the Vikings. I got the Vikings winning this game.
All right, the Cowboys and the Giants.
Look, Dak Prescott, he owns the Giants. He owns that franchise. I hate to say it. I know the Giants are playing well, and they played a great game the first time around this year. I want to see what the Giants could do against this Cowboy defense still, but I think the Cowboys are going to win at home again on the road against the Giants.
I would not be surprised if the Giants win. And
It
it's
would.
always where there's a tiebreaker for the draft, and you couldn't be the worst team. And I don't care what they say, right? You
Hmm.
tanking. There was no reason why the Giants should have won last week against the Raiders. The Raiders were better equipped. And you know what's funny? They got all their coaching staff. You know what the Raiders did? They took out all the stars. Y'all going to IR. You guys are injured. Yeah, you tanked. I am so sorry. You tanked. And for the Giants, they're like, oh, okay, well, trying to save my job, guys. Man, please stop. Man, it's unmotivating, man. I wouldn't
Very.
be surprised if the Giants win and then they drop even more.
I mean, but
But
look
it
at the
is what
Cowboys.
it is.
The Cowboys are almost as bad on the road as the Giants are at home. So I mean, it's almost an
Yeah,
even matchup there. It seems like.
yeah. But I mean, you're right. I mean, yeah, yeah, I can't pick the Giants, man. I'm sorry. Like every time I pick the Giants, they lose, and if I go with the Cowboys, the Giants win. So it's been that time for like the last few years. So I stay away from that game. All right, the Lions and the Bears.
Hey, I like the Bears. The
The
Lions,
Bears.
they're Bears. That's the Bears. That's it. I think
Yeah,
they lock up that number 2 seed and call it a day and get ready for the playoffs.
absolutely. And yeah, number two, number three. I think they need to decide who they want to play. Do they play for real because of a certain team, or vice versa? But hey, it is what it is. And lastly, the Colts and the Titans. I mean, I'm sorry, the
Look,
Colts and the Texans. Excuse me.
yeah, the Texans, they know they need a Jacksonville loss, but they still got to go out there and do their business. And I believe Riley Leonard is going to be starting at quarterback for the Colts.
Yes, he is.
So I think that gives the Texans a great chance to win this game. So I like the Texans. Yeah.
Man, Philip Rivers, for being retired for so long, came back and just started playing like he's outshining a lot of quarterbacks, man. I'm
Yes.
like, dude, I just came out and I'm a grandfather. Dude, all I had to do was dust my shoulders off, 99 pounds,
Mhm.
and y'all got a bunch, that type of deal. And he played very well. It just sucks that the coach don't have the defense.
No, no. I mean, they almost beat the Seahawks, though. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? You almost beat the
Ah,
Seahawks.
man. I went for the Colts. I
But
thought that they finally were gonna do it. Like you gotta give one to Philip Rivers because the word was that was his last game. So I thought maybe he'll go out with a bang, but it just didn't work out. It didn't work
I,
out that way.
I know we had a lot of teams garbage this year, a lot, but the most disappointing team got to be the Colts. Started off 7-1. And no, I did not jinx them. I just saw what I saw.
Hey, you jinxed them. Stop
and they
lying. Why you
they went
always lying?
and then they went 1-7 from there. So
Ah, that's got. I mean that gotta hurt. Even as a fan, that gotta hurt.
I know it. I'd
And
rather be.
even if they had what's his name, the quarterback, Daniel Jones, right? It still would have been this way. And a lot of people, I mean, I think the fans might be disappointed, but yeah, I need another quarterback. Yeah, I need someone more consistent because when they were playing against teams that are playing for the playoffs, Daniel Jones folded.
Mhm.
He folded.
You
When
sure
the
did.
competition got tough, he didn't
I
bring it.
I try to tell you. I try to tell you,
Yeah.
but you think I was drinking that
I mean, but
Haterade?
they got a great sometimes you can protect the quarterback with a great run game.
Yeah,
They
but
got a great they have an awesome running game. They got an awesome running back. They got a great offensive line. But when you put the ball on Jones's hand, that's a 50-50. And
Jones
then
just
as the
beat.
season goes along, that 50-50 turns into 25-75, and you in trouble.
Well, it still showed that different team, same
Mhm.
result. He cannot beat the teams that he's supposed to beat. Sorry.
Yeah. 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 Hey, you said it. You did say it. But let's move on to fourth down because now it's time for college football quarterfinals and the playoffs starting on New Year's Eve. And ah, here it is. We have Oregon versus Texas Tech, Alabama versus Indiana, Ole Miss versus Georgia, and Miami versus Ohio State. Now, the first game is going to be on New Year's Eve at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that'll be Miami and Ohio State in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Okay. If you guys looked at this game, if you watch college football and you follow my podcast, Miami, Miami took a dip. Okay. They took a dip in November. Okay. When they lost to two teams that were unranked, right? Everyone was like, oh no, they're still tied with Notre Dame. They should be ahead of Notre Dame because you want to reflect that to week one or week two. I don't really care what happened in the first couple of weeks. Honestly, what do you look like now? And I'm
Hmm.
going to tell you that Notre Dame got better and better. Okay. And I understand that their schedule is a little weaker than Miami, but they started to develop. There's no team in college football other than Notre Dame that played their first two games against ranked teams. And not just ranked, they were in the top 10. Nobody did that, but Notre Dame did. You see what I'm saying? So you
Hmm.
can't give them that credit. Even they're, I mean, I understand they don't belong to a conference and they have to do that, right? But at the same time, you got to take into consideration you schedule those games, you got to win those games. So I'm playing, both sides here. But that Miami and Texas Tech game, I mean, Texas A&M, that was the most boringest game. I thought I was watching a high school football game. Honestly, honestly, honestly. And to play a game against Ohio State and to try to beef Miami up, I'm gonna tell you right now, I am surprised that the spread is at 9.5. It should be a lot more. Ohio State is gonna run the table on Miami. Miami just don't got it. Their defense. I think something happened in the waters. I think something happened to the Aggies because the Aggies did not play Aggie football. They did
Right.
not. That was straight up garbage. And for Miami, that offense, that was even worse. Carson Beck, that type of offense, bro. Carson Beck just lost value in the NFL draft. This is his last year. And if he doesn't perform in this game, he might be the seventh round pick in the NFL.
Dang.
Okay. I mean, you went from the top star in Georgia and then you transferred to Miami, which, by the way, in his defense, when you throwing the ball to receivers and they're just dropping, it makes you look bad. Your stats look bad. Yeah, I'll go to Miami, but man, you've been garbage. He's straight up garbage. All right. And Justin saying whatever he is, um, probably going to outperform him. I really do. I do see Ohio State winning, but I say, but if you pay attention to last year, there was no home team in the quarterfinals winning
Yeah.
to the semifinals.
Right. Hmm.
And there's a lot of days that you didn't play. There's a lot of days in between. You last played at the conference championship on the first week of December, and now you're playing against a team that already got one win already. How is that an advantage?
Mm.
Something's got to change. And then you played on a weekend. The weekend is coming up, and you're not playing until the middle of the week. Something's got to change. The schedule has to change. And I understand the tradition of playing on New Year's Day. I got it, right? But damn, I line it up. The only time that you should have enough days to rest is for the national championship.
Right.
I mean, look at the NFL. Take their playbook, do something, you know. But anyways, I could go on and on and on this, but
Yeah, but you're good at this. I mean, I understand. I'm hearing everything. Yeah. Preach it,
but
brother.
yeah. So in other words, here's my final four in the semifinals for the college football playoffs, and I have my winners: Oregon and Alabama, and Georgia and Ohio State. Those are my top four teams right now. Indiana and Alabama might going to be a close game, but I'm going to go
Hmm.
for it experience. And I know Indiana got crushed last year, but you still got more to prove, right? You might have a Heisman winner, but either two quarterbacks. I mean, I think these two teams are identical, and I do not believe that Indiana will beat Alabama more than 7 points. I will take the points for Alabama +7 and run with it. If
Mm.
Indiana were to win, they were going to win by a field goal.
Mm.
I do believe that. That'll be the closest game. The game that's going to be out of control is Oregon versus Texas Tech. Oregon's going to run the table in Texas Tech. Yes, they got this great dude that plays defense that was catching interceptions in the Big 12 championship, but Oregon's been here before. Oregon was that team, just like Georgia, that lost in the quarterfinals last year. And remind you, Ohio State was number 5 and ran the table and became national champions. Okay. But Georgia and Oregon had a bye week and they lost. These two teams are going to rebound and win. So Oregon and Georgia guarantee wins. All right. What else? And it's going to be one fantastic Final Four. I know it's going to be, but these are my top four.
I agree. I mean, looking at the field right here, um, I'm on board with all four of these. I mean, I didn't have Alabama winning their first game against Oklahoma, but
Oh, I did not. That was a shocker, to be honest with you.
yeah, that they just
You
stunk
see
that
how Oklahoma started that game? I was
guy.
like, I told you it was going to happen. And then I don't know what happened in the second half. They just shut down.
They let their foot off the throttle and let
Mm,
Alabama come back. I mean, you
mm,
just can't do that,
mm.
you
No, we
know.
can't. No
Mm-mm.
bueno.
No buenos. But it's funny that you talk about Oregon. You feel like Oregon's going to have a runaway game against the Red Raiders, but it seems like they got this game way closer than we were anticipating. Because I
And
think
that's
it's
okay. That's all right. I'm
man,
yo, 2.5, because they might
right,
think that there's similarities, but Texas Tech has never been in this situation before. There is
right.
no experienced players
Mhm.
in that game. The only team that have the experience in that game right now, I'm sorry, not in that game, is the Oregon Ducks. Oregon Ducks are not going to sit back. Look, they had practice against James Madison. And don't get
Mhm.
me started on these games, that these two teams, because I've heard it from others and I've been saying it from the beginning. I think the Vanderbilt should have had been in the playoffs, and Notre Dame should have been in the playoffs. I think they need to change the rules so we get better quality games. I
Right,
really do, you know. And you putting these non-power four conferences in there. I mean, they got to earn that and their schedule. I mean, if anything, I think Duke would have played better than James Madison against Oregon. To be honest with you,
right,
you know what I mean. So there's a lot more into this that I will cover once the postseason comes and everything else. But as far as the playoffs concerned, I think it's an embarrassment to weigh the teams were into the college football playoffs. I think it's more embarrassing when you have a team that was on top for consecutive weeks to then not make it. How
yeah,
you not make it when you did not play?
right.
When two teams and they flop without playing, that's a problem. That means you corrected something. You corrected an error that was already too late.
And
You
see,
know,
and that's why I think they have the. I'm not no college football expert, but I feel like they have the wrong people in these committees because, us as fans, we see it week in and week out. Where we see what's the product that's on the field, and so we know what's good because we see it. What are they
right?
looking at that's making it, not enjoyable for the fans? Are they doing it for the money? Are they doing it
Hmm.
because there's a money maker? Right?
Right,
Forget
right.
forget about what the fans want. Let's just do what we know is going to be more investing for us
Here's
financially.
another take because I'm now into my final whistle here of this show. And I'm glad because you brought out a lot, and there's a lot that's being said that I was gonna wait until the end of the season, but a lot of people are questioning, and I know Fox, all those people there at the staff, they want to be like, the Big Ten is better because we've won the national championships the last 2 years, right? Michigan and then Ohio State. That doesn't mean that the Big Ten is better than the SEC. And here's why. If you look and compare, and I don't know what formula they use, and this is the NCAA problem. There's nothing great of the Big Ten. Name me teams in the Big Ten that you could say, "Oh my God, these are the hardest teams to play against." Okay, you're going to say Ohio State, number one. Can you include Michigan? Every 2 3 years you can.
They're not consistent though.
Indiana, who did you play against? You played Oregon. You played what did they play Penn State? All right, and even
Even
that.
so,
Watch this. Watch this. You ready? I'm looking at there. They play Oregon. They played Ohio State, and Illinois. Oh yeah, Illinois. Okay. Hello. Did anybody see Illinois falter? They went from out of the top 25, and then when it came to the end of the season, then they want to put Illinois back in there. Illinois was
Mm.
garbage. Okay. I could go on and on. Let's say I'll go in order. Indiana, okay, they still got to prove something. Ohio State, you're already national champion. They're always great. They always recruit well. They're always on top. Oregon, you got to respect that. USC, garbage. Michigan, terrible. Iowa, they only have a run game. They play low score games. When did you ever think about Iowa being a threat? Washington Huskies, when they were in the Pac 12. I already talked about Illinois, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, UCLA. We saw the baggage of Penn State, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Maryland, Purdue. Who are these teams? Who are these teams? Then let's talk about the SEC. Georgia, boom, in the playoffs. Ole Miss in the playoffs. Texas A&M lost. Alabama in the playoffs. Texas, they're coming shortly. Vanderbilt, you see the development of Vanderbilt. Oklahoma, they're always good. Missouri, they're average. Tennessee, average. LSU, oh boy, change of direction, but did not so long ago they were national champions.
Yep.
Kentucky, garbage. Florida, they need to find a head coach. Mullen had them great, but we're not going to reflect to the past, but I think they'll get it together. Auburn, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Arkansas. At any given time, these guys could erupt. Okay. And I've been saying this for and a couple of weeks ago. I said this. Why do you not make week 2 Big Ten versus SEC? Go ahead and talk your garbage. Talk.
SEC will dominate that when it comes to
No, but I
football.
want I want that to happen now. Um, Ohio State beat Texas. Okay, let's get more of that game.
But barely. I mean, dude,
But
that was
that
a
was week
boring
one.
game. That
It
was a
was a
boring
boring game.
game.
But that's what I say. Put it in a week 2, or put it in a week. Put it in a halfway mark. Right now, SEC is going to change their schedule to a 9-game conference games. So that means they only got 3 non-conference games. Okay. So I'm gonna repeat myself again. They got 9 conference games starting in 2026. So that only leaves them with 3 teams that they got to compete. Okay. There's no room to get a quality team unless they can make that happen. And the way they forecast games 4 or 5 years from now, right? So they could be good now, but when they play those teams later on, they might not be that great anymore.
Mhm.
Okay. And we are definitely seeing a swing of talent across all college sports, because there's not one team that's going to be dominant like it was before the NIL. Okay. The
Mhm.
transfer portal is more deadlier now than anything before. Okay. And which, by the way, leads me to my next topic sometime in the postseason, is that the how it reflects high school athletes, because now it's harder for high school athletes to get in because everyone's looking for the transfer portal because everybody wants to win and everybody wants that money.
Yeah.
That's it. So, not to throw off all our picks and everything else, but it's gonna be an interesting week. I'm looking forward. I already made my bids on DraftKings, so I'm waiting for it, baby. I'm waiting to get some money. So I only got one loss, man, and that was that Oklahoma Alabama game. Like I was really butthurt that Oklahoma did not win, and to me, honestly, Oklahoma had the best defense on the whole entire bracket, and until it wasn't. So
They let go of the gas. I don't believe it.
yeah,
Put the
yeah.
car in neutral and started coasting downhill.
But let's see, man. Like I said, the playoffs is a different ball game, and the teams with more experience, the coaching staff with the more experience, are going to succeed. And in college football, it's not about the best defense; it's about the best execution. It's just not the
Mhm.
NFL. So really, if you got the best offense and they're clicking in every possession, more likely they're going to win.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyhow, that's a wrap up for the all four downs podcast here at Four Downs Three Counts. I want to wish everyone a happy new year, and whatever resolutions you got to come up with, you follow through. But over here, when it's the new year, that means our season is almost over. So crazy. But you know what's more crazy is that your boy OV1 here is creating another podcast with music. Oh yeah. It's not me singing though. But
Thank
the
God.
first episode comes on New Year's Day. It's called Lyrically Speaking. You can find it at 4downs3counts.com. It's Lyrically Speaking, and it's all about talking about the song and what it means and stuff like that, and just to carry a conversation. All right. I think it's for fulfilling. Excuse me. Oh my God, I can't even speak. But there's the website, 4downs3counts.com. Lyrically Speaking, you go tune in. The trailer is already out to talk about what the show's all about. But on New Year's Day, first thing in the morning, you get to hear, and it's the song Daddy Yankee, Sonriere. So like, what does that song mean to you? What does it mean to me? Have that conversation, because yes, the song is in Spanish, but it's translated and it has a lot of meaning to it. And I got many more episodes coming up. I think it's oh man, it was Godsmack with when when we rise or something like that. That's the title. So like that song's already there, and I'm already working on something else. So it's a continued basis. So whatever songs you guys come up with, let me know, and uh put the comments in there. Like I said, follow the website, 4downs3counts.com, lyrically speaking, and that will be continuous. And man, there's just so much going on for the 2026 year. So I mean, Hector, when you listen to music, some things you just be jamming, but there might be that one song like, damn, yeah, I could reminisce to this.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
So
since these artists, they make music, there's a story behind that song, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And so, we can resonate with a lot of lyrics to different type of songs and different genres,
Right.
and so, whatever's hitting you at that moment, there's a song for it, whether it's a good mood, a bad mood, a sad mood, a reminiscing mood, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So, you
Right.
know,
And you know what? The first song that I picked was Daddy Yankee, was more of because we should all smile. And that's what it's about. Smile. And we starting a new year. So why not smile at a new year? First day, right? Um, yeah. So again, lyrically speaking, is where music slows the world down and lets the world breathe. Like you mentioned, genres, generations, right? So the podcast we'll talk about lyrics that has a lot of meaning, and it could hit different to many people.
mhm.
So tune in on 4downs3counts.com, lyrically speaking, and you could tune in on the first episode on New Year's Day. Loving it. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Hector. Happy New Year to you and the
Happy New
family.
Year. Happy New Year's.
Yes.
Yes.
It's showtime, baby. Don't you love football?
Yeah, love it.
Mm,
NFL playoffs, college playoffs.
mm.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'll be going to a bowl game this coming Friday, the
Oh
Armed Forces
man.
bowl game.
Have fun.
Yes,
Have
sir.
fun. Absolutely. You enjoy yourself and everybody else. Take care, everyone.